So far, we have covered the financial value, the business model, and the stakeholder management. Now we want to talk about the culture. We want to talk about when we have a new strategy or when we're trying to implement a new strategy or upgrade our current strategy, we need to make sure that we are putting the culture of the organization at the heart of our strategy. It's one of the most critical aspects of a successful implementation. So we need to make sure that our culture is not really touched, is not shaken. However, it needs to be even getting stronger. When we talk also about the culture, we talk about employee engagement. Why engaging employees is important? Because technically they are the ones who are going to really implement the strategy. They are the ones who are going to work with the new strategy elements on a daily basis. If you remember, we discussed at the beginning of our weekly series, when we discussed about the importance of strategy, we said it's important to have an opt-in. We need to have an opt-in from all the stakeholders, including our employees. We don't need to have any resistance. At the contrary, we need to have people who are adopting the strategy. When we are developing and implementing a strategy, we usually touch on three major points. We touch on people, processes, and systems. So definitely we might have reorganization. We can have a new department. We can cancel a department. We can shift employees around. So we need to make sure that the people would understand why we are doing this. Then definitely processes are going to be enhanced, changed, developed even further. So process reengineering is extremely important to a new strategy. And of course, we should make sure that we are training our employees on the new processes and of course on the new systems which we are implementing. We shouldn't keep anything up to the hazard. We shouldn't just let them figure it out, and we shouldn't also let them be surprised with the new elements that we are adding to the operational efficiency. So we need to keep our employees engaged at all steps of the strategy, from the strategy definition to the strategy implementation. Now, once everyone is already on board and everybody is implementing the strategy, we need to make sure that we are able to track the performance. In big organization, we can implement something that we call the balance scorecard. However, in smaller organization, this could be a very tedious process and maybe unnecessary. So it depends on the size of your business. This is when you start deciding if I really want to go into a full-fledged balance scorecard performance tracking, or if I will have something that is more easy to manage and to handle. So finally, why we are doing all this, right? So why we went from understanding the financial value, the business model, the stakeholder management, and then we went into the culture evolution and the engagement of employees up to tracking performance, because we want to reach what we call leadership excellence. Every organization, or most of the successful organizations, usually they have a great leadership model that is implemented, and leadership excellence is a topic by itself, which hopefully we're going to cover in our future weekly tips. So when we talk about all this implementation process, usually it is managed under a bigger umbrella that has four major components. The first component is about designing the strategy, and this is what we have done in the strategic planning session. Then we need to start embedding the strategy into the organization. And usually to start embedding the strategy, we use action plans and we use as well the SMART objectives. The execution of the strategy is the third step, and this is all what we have discussed about today. And finally, the last overarching component is the sustainability of the strategy. We need to make sure that our strategy is not all the time a very short-term strategy. We need to make sure that the direction and the strategic pillars which we have adopted for our organization are sustainable, at least for the mid to the long term time frame, because you don't want to shake the tree almost every year. Otherwise, it will become a very cumbersome and unrealistic way of managing an organization. I hope that today the implementation of the strategy overview was interesting for you, and we will definitely continue discussing part of this implementation strategy in our next weekly tips. I hope that I will see you again next week. Thank you so much and have a great day.